Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Game 2 between Wolf Team and Interitus. And my name is DKTruman. Joining me on the mic is Kips.
Hello, hello.
Oh, Kips, that first game, anything more to add?
Honestly, not really. I think Interitus didn't expect their first phase co-op to get countered so hard with as many teams that have been getting away with it here. And let's see if they... Well, no, that is definitely not a Queen of Pain. So they are looking at other avenues this time around. And I gotta say, I really love this Tidehunter coming out here. We've seen what Tava can do with this before. And I like the confidence of his team just picking this up for him immediately. Of course, the big lockdown of the Legion Commander is something to be feared here for this hero. But it's really a question of who jumps who. This is not a very hard counter to him.
Well, of course, Tide works very well with more armor reduction heroes. And there's probably one armor reduction hero that's still left in the pool. That is his best buddy in this patch, and that would be the Weaver. Are they going to choose it? Go for it on the side of Wolf Team.
It's Radiant's band now.
No, they're actually going to steal the Quap themselves. Okay. Mad respect. Snapfire, Legion. Well, Legion Commander definitely is very good against Quap, but Snapfire, it's kind of hard to really get the good catch unless you've got the Blink Shard.
Yep, and I think the Quap is a lot better if you properly ban for it in the second phase, especially if you take the Nyx Assassin out here.
10 seconds.
It's just so much more freedom for your mid laner to actually do things. Maybe they expect Interitus to not go for it at all anymore with the Snapfire already on the board, but I'd be surprised. I think Nyx makes for a decent pos 4 and pos 5, and the same goes for the Snapfire. But no, it is OD instead, so just mid lane matchups for now.
Well, maybe the Silencer comes up pretty decent against the Tide in the laning stage. And of course, always good against the Quap. You could yoink it on the Interitus side.
10 seconds.
I do like the ban of OD, mainly because OD is definitely one of those heroes that you won't play it in the mid lane against Queen of Pain. You could even put the Legion Commander in like mid. You want to swap things around. But OD in general is fairly annoying to deal with.
Indeed, and his save would be pretty good versus the Tidehunter as well, so just remove out the man. In the meantime, Interitus is already on their tour of removing the HFN heroes that would also mess up their Legion Commander, which is... I think that's... wait, two birds with one stone? That's the expression in English, right? I wanted to say two flies in one blow, which is definitely the Dutch one.
Oh, safely in één klap.
Yes.
Oh, wow. Yeah, two birds with one stone. And that is the tiny expression as well.
It is. Anyway, taking out both the carry hero pool of one of your biggest problems over on the enemy side while protecting your first phase pick here. It just feels good to be drafting like this.
I really hope that we get to see a Rubik on the side of Wolf Team. Or honestly on the side of Inter. This is such a nice Rubik game. So many great spells to steal. I don't expect them to go for it, but it would just be fun.
Interitus here, man. Our way just bluffed his on. It's like, right, that Nyx Assassin, you can take it, you can have it. And Interitus is like, no, you know what? We have a Snapfire, we have an LC who really relies on getting the better vision game on, jumping first. We'll ban it. Our way is just rubbing their hands together right now. Very happy with this.
They're gonna go for the Ogre, which is pretty much just to help win the lane, but against the Tide, it's like two brick walls next to each other. They kind of stare at each other menacingly, and that's about it.
Yeah, that is about it. I mean, the Ogre Magi gets, of course, handy when you consider his added farming potential for a carry, as well as the Shard. The 85 damage reduction for 3 hits is pretty neat. And Treant Protector Lion.
That's a bit of a surprise. Couple of picks coming in. Treant, you don't see that one too often. Lion, you definitely do see a decent amount. Though the TA, do you reckon this is a safe lane TA? Considering you're up against Quap?
I'd say so. This is a Ryur
10 seconds.
signature pick, of course, but it doesn't
5
feel like it would
seconds
work
left.
out in the mid lane right now. So I think you're right. I think this is a safe lane TA, and she's going to go with the Ogre Magi.
Pretty good against Tide, because the side blades, of course, is pure damage, and you just burst right through his HP.
And especially once you get the levels up, you just about outrange him, and it becomes the kind of lane, like, for example, that a Luna has versus a Tide as well. Which is, as long as she can stay just out of reach, she keeps on spamming her spells, and her
Dire's
damage
turn to
actually
ban.
becomes really annoying for the Tide. So I enjoyed this pick. It also works
Radiant's ban
decently
now.
versus what our way has picked up, though of course the living armor from the Treant Protector can actually make a really big difference. TA deals the most damage when she gets people's armor under 0, and that's going to be a hard target to hit when there is a Treant in the game.
Yeah, it's kind of an interesting mix, because on one side you've got Mind's Arm from TA Snapfire, with the attack speed increase of Ogre, which means Roche buildings die pretty, and people, especially considering our way don't have the most tanky heroes, die fairly quickly. But on the other side you've got Treant, who counters, well, 2 of those aspects, especially the building push is fairly annoying. Plus in the laning stage, he just comes out of the trees, gives you the old smack to the face, walks back, and you don't know what hit you.
Yep, he's very good at kiting as well. And Templar Assassin, not quite known for building Manta styles either. So the overgrowth is going to be a bit of a problem for her. This support duo from our way, like, the more I look at it, the more I really like that they just picked up the 2 of them, because it covers such a wild, like a broad spectrum of options. You got a lot of DOTs from the Treant and a lot of movement stopping capabilities, and then the Lion is all burst damage and a little bit of insurance versus possible illusion heroes coming out. So it really covers everything quite nicely. It's a nice dual pick.
Dire's ban now.
And that way, I assume it's a 3 and 5 with a line 4 at least. And that way you have both your safe and off lane having some kind of regen ability to try and hold on for as long as possible. And you can even help out the Quap with living armor during the laning stage if anyone gets scary. Interitus. Our way
banned a Luna here.
They're not really 100% sure on what this TA is going to do, it seems.
Yeah. I think it's interesting that they consider the TA going up versus the Quap at all. And then also that they consider the Luna to be the biggest threat here. I guess it's to match farm versus something like this. Whereas I'd consider, for example, the Razor to be a way bigger laning threat to the Tidehunter. If you don't think that it's going to be a safe lane TA. And man, TB in this game, you don't feel too great, at least in the laning stage, when the Legion Commander is going to be taking out your illusions with the overwhelming odds. She remains pretty decent against you for most of the game for that reason, in fact. But in the carry matchup versus the TA, whether she's played from mid or from the safe lane, right, she is going to be the main DPS on the enemy team, most likely. You just have so much armor that she's never much of a proper threat to you.
Unless...
And there's the Razor.
Unless the TA, of course, gets side blades. Because if you get dueled, for instance, lock down the TB, you get side blades, then all that armor doesn't matter. And you've got Snapfire more to miss. There's definitely a lot of kill potential against the Razor, the TB this game. Fairly dangerous game for HFN. But then again, you know, Kips, we know HFN. He's not going to do anything until he's walking around with 4k HP.
True. This man does not have a habit of unnecessarily putting himself in harm's way.
That's what he's got Tavo for. Tavo, do stuff.
Yeah. And it is Tavo's area of expertise. I must say, he is not going to have an easy lane here, though, versus that Razor. I saw that pick. I'm like, alright, if they're convinced that Razor is going to take up the TA, like, you can't win the lane versus the Quap. But as a TA, you can not play the lane. And jungle, which is actually, we've seen that on Storm Spirits as well. If you're in a completely unplayable matchup, you can still keep up pretty much a regular level of net worth, even if you're not quite snowballing. On a TA, you can still do really very well as long as your tower is not getting shoved down immediately. And that's what a Quap is going to do. And now with a Razor on the field as well, she is going to have time to recover from that presumably pretty rough laning stage. Because FCR is going to make a lot of tempo as well.
That's pretty much as you said. TA is... It has some very tough matchups. I mean, Viper, Huskar, Quap is also one of them. But somehow tends to always be the hero that enters the jungle, farms a bit in the triangle, and then all of a sudden comes out with more net worth than the hero that just dominated him in the laning stage. And you did predict the Razor, of course, in the safe lane, which is going to be very tough for the Tide to deal with if, of course, they play it correctly. That is. The only big plus, especially, is that Ogre. It's just going to be able to buff up the Razors can be very nutty, especially with the refresher orb builds. That armor on all these heroes from Wolf Team is just going to melt, except for TB, because let's TB.
Yeah, I mean he has more armor to melt, right? Doesn't that make it better?
Value right there.
Yeah, exactly. Man starts off with 9. What a piece of work that hero is.
Ogre starts off with a solid 7, you know, int hero, by the way.
Yeah, him and Ursa are, you know, even I get confused still sometimes.
And then you've got, what, Pudge walking around with 0, sadness. Buff Pudge.
Deserves nothing but sadness.
Nah.
No.
Buff Pudge. Make him amazing again. Actually, to be fair, Pudge is still
30
fun.
seconds to showtime.
It's the forced displacement, right? His Hook is the strongest ability in the game in that sense, that you can put people in a position where they've never been. All other relocations, apart from, I guess, Skewer, most of the relocations require you to go in, or the enemy to have to be in the wrong position before, and Pudges requires neither.
And his shard's pretty cool.
Pay attention now. The battle
Shard's
started.
pretty cool.
But the greatest thing about playing Rubik is that you 50% of the time are playing up against a Pudge. Or with a Pudge. That second one is slightly less fun.
Oh god, what a support Joe.
Pimp goes for the HFN harass. Haha, right click. Right click. Right click.
Tickle, tickle.
It does so much to
does not
HFN.
care. Like 8 right clicks right there. HFN is mildly bothered.
It's actually interesting. If Hijack did not block the creep camp. Oh, actually, they're going to go in onto HFN. Takes a lot of damage already. Poked his meta. He's in trouble. Doesn't have support because top lane... Where is... I'm missing someone. Oh, they're trying to to get first blood top lane, and now Duster TP's bottom.
Yep, he waited patiently in the trees for a good angle in his DOT.
Oh, FCR in trouble. Tries to fall back, but King RD is the one getting first blooded, and FCR is just gonna be fine. Well, reasonably fine. Healing salve, he's gonna be just Gucci. And even first blood secured by Fatty Boom Boom Ogre.
Excellent start for Interitus here, especially because the reason that this Tide is going on the aggressive is he knows that if he sits back in this lane, this is going to be a bad time for him. He should not let this Razor sit back and farm, but that's going to get harder and harder as FCR is already dominating the lane.
Bottom lane, HFN took a lot of damage, but Duster gave him a healing salve, and now Hijack and Pimp both have no mana. So, yeah, TB is pretty okay, even though he doesn't have meta available for the foreseeable future.
All's well that ends well, especially as long as Hijack does not have the mana to spam the overwhelming odds, and in fact HFN has no levels in the Conjure image yet, so feels pretty good for him as well. Of course, he is going to have to get levels in that at some point in order to actually farm the jungle, but I wouldn't be surprised to see him favoring Metamorphosis over the Illusions this game.
And very unsurprisingly, mid lane, Quap looking pretty decent already against Razur. 15-6. The Bully Fest comes through, both of them. Bottle, if Fordiar goes one direction, Razur just goes the other.
It's a little bit of a game, though.
A game of chicken. Rajur does manage to pick up the bottle charge. Use the healing self so you wouldn't die the moment that you of course get jumped by 4DR.
Exactly, because that's the problem here. The Quap can just observe where Rajur goes and then either fight him or ignore him, because she has the blink. Such choices are not given to the TA, who is basically a melee creep at this point.
It just needs to get that quick Ags on TA. They don't build it that much anymore, but I still love the Ags build.
I do really love the Axe TA as well. And, you know, in a split pushy game like this, where you're going to have a TB off on your sidelines, it might just be worth it.
Global presence. You also have
Opium.
factor potentials. And just in general, it's like a 1 second cast blink. Wherever you go, you can chase after the Quap. You get the shard as well on the TA, which adds to silence. Every single time Quap walks over one of your traps, he just instantly dies.
It's true, there's a lot of playmaking potential with that later on in the game. For now, though, we just see Rajur hanging on in there. Actually keeping up in the last hits for now. But that's going to change now that both of the runes have been taken away. King RD really getting a lot of value out of a very small rotation there. That's going to force Rajur all but out of the lane.
Kind of would have loved to see the TA get some stacks somewhere built up.
I think he's going to have to do it himself because he's going to be in the triangle a lot anyway.
True. Sad TA moments right there. 4DR. Gotta keep an eye on them though at all times, because a quick blink could definitely destroy one of the side lanes.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Interesting to see that 4DR goes so into the max Shadow Strike build. I'm hoping to see him switch over to the Scream of Pain right now, because most of your value here is in taking the refraction charges off, not actually in dealing damage to Rajur. Because he's not trading back into you. You don't need to sustain from the dagger that much. Yeah, there we go. Scream of Pain leveled now. I think he could have done with one less level in the Shadow Strike, honestly.
What does that mean, Kips?
I know the last part is you or we play here. But I'm afraid I'm actually better at reading the Russian lines than the the Hispanic ones.
I'm like okay-ish with English. That's about it. Anything, well, maybe a little bit of French / German, but that's my entire high school experience right there.
King RD was mid again, just to put Rajur even further into the dirt.
Rajur honestly doesn't have that terrible of a time. It could be worse.
He's still done very decently for himself, and I gotta say, the amount of regen that he's managed to scrape together, especially in the early levels, has really helped him sustain here. This is a lot better than I thought he'd do, and honestly I think 4DR is pretty annoyed with it. This TA should just be sadly jungling somewhere right now, not killing his waves.
Yeah, Rajur is still surviving well enough, of course. A player that should have had this matchup time and time again.
Ooh. HFN's courier just got murdered. That had boots and a gloves of haste on it.
Makes him slightly sad, but he doesn't have meta currently. It can definitely be enough damage to burst down HFN if they're not careful, especially considering Duster's also very low in HP. HFN takes some damage, shotgun blast available, the slow will at least keep them at bay. I mean, Duster has 2 levels in the living armor as well. Gotta keep his TB alive at all times. You know, add more armor to the TB, because why not?
And being able to go into the living armor build is such a luxury for a treant. Means that you haven't been necessary for the brawl, so no leech seeds, no nature's grasp extra levels necessary.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Which means that later on you can really start choking out the map by keeping your towers alive. That's what Treants love to do most.
Well, next rune's about to spawn. Where will it come towards? Does Rajur have the RNG? He lost it last time. And it is going to be the Invis rune bottom picked up. At least he gets the bottle refill. Stun onto 4DR. He takes a heap of damage in the process. The supports of Interitus are really trying to give Rajur a better lane. Even though laning stage is sort of at the point where it normally tends to end.
Definitely breaking down right now, and Pimp's absence from the bottom lane does get a hijack.
Oh, 4DR. Rookie stun. Rajur goes in. Do they have the damage? Yes, they do. Stun lock is there. And a very big catch. Nice rotation with the Invis rune. Rajur got the surprise onto 4DR.
Very nice for them, and that really puts the nail into the Quap's frustration, I think. He was supposed to have an easy time here. He's definitely not anymore, and he's not really that far ahead of the TA. And TA is going to have free reign of her own jungle, while Quap is going to have to share farm with the Terrorblade. So, yeah, this is not the greatest start. He might get a consolation prize here, though.
No, the stun. He was so close, but D-Flash dies, and they probably will get the counter word as well. But the plus side is Rajur got some stacks in the jungle in the meantime, and he's almost ahead of the Quap. He's at least ahead in XP for now.
Yeah, that's the kill at work right there. Absolutely illegal. But excellent for Rajur. Very nicely done.
Both safe lanes also neck on neck. The only difference is Rajak kind of struggling on the LC. Comparatively, that's the only one in the game that is currently slightly behind his ops. Well, Duster as well, but you know, he's a tree in position 5. All he wants is a couple of levels. And give that global help towards his cores.
I think part of the praise for this top lane, honestly, because this Tide should be having a more difficult time as well, should go to King RD, who has been stunning the Razor every single time he got the link off, and then also somehow making enough time in between that to control a couple of top runes and stack the jungle, so he has been everywhere.
Oh, Rajur. I mean, this is kind of what I expect from the heroes that have been picked up, Kips. Everyone's just going to farm. We've had 3 kills in 11 minutes time. There's not much going on.
Yeah, true. I guess the one that I'd hope would kind of pop off is 4DR. But again, has not snowballed his lane as much as he wanted to. And now TA immediately takes down the catapult. 4DR too late with the glyph. And he'll have to back off again. Rotating towards top though.
They want that tower to open up the map, give the TP a chance to just TP top, farm that area. Because he's already taking the jungle, but you want that triangle plus top lane for the easy farm.
Yep. And this is one of the big benefits that Wolf Team has from that Treant Protector right now. He's had a good time. He's got 3 levels in the living armor. And with some Nature's Grasping along the line of the creep wave on bottom, he can hold this tower pretty much forever until they really properly dive him. At which point he can overgrowth and the rest of his team can come in to back him up. This is actually a very risky tower to take for Interitus. Because you can't chip it down and you can't dive it. And Treant Protector loves this stalemate. And in the meantime, yeah, you can throw all your heroes at top, get that space for HFN, make sure that he can start illusion pushing that top lane, illusion clearing the top jungle. It's gonna feel great.
Who do you think is going to make the actual... Like, they did TP top to go for the tower, but the initial engagement, because Tide kind of needs a blink to really take a fight. Same really for the line. I would assume once King RD has a blink dagger, they'll make some plays. Because 4DR, no. Kai Assange, still A long way to go. Sure is done with the Dragonlance, but he's also not a hero that wants to fight anytime soon. Maybe wants to hijack if he gets his blink. To be fair, the Razor is a hero that wants to fight a little bit sooner, but he's also looking for the BKB. This game is going to take like another 5-6 minutes until these two teams are like, okay, now we can actually do something.
Hello, mic test, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, well, let's see if we're actually going to get to do something after the reconnection comes in here.
Dire's top tower might be going down.
Oh, the tower taking some damage.
Dire's top
Level
tower's
1
under
Steel
attack.
Shredder, of course. Armor reduction to get rid
Dire's
of, well,
structures are
almost the living armor that comes through. And Duster,
Oh, Duster removed himself from safety.
Top tower is under attack.
oh, Pimp is right-clicking him right now, but he is fairly tanky. In the meantime, the tower is actually going to fall, and a lot faster than I expected. But Hijack, he's taking a lot of damage from the tower. He's about to just die. Ravage is blown, taken down. Pimp somehow runs away, because I guess Tavo did not spot him out right behind it. But with the gush, Slow comes in. Duster, right-click him, get the kill. Yeah, there we go. Duster gets a kill added in as well, and they defend the tower. They get a double kill, and pretty much what Kips expected came through.
Yeah, and Tavo there actually, he lets Pimp go because he's focusing on the priority, which is taking down the catapult. Catapult would have killed that tower in 3 more hits. So if you take that one, if you let that one go, then the Treant can't heal it up anymore and you can't repeat this entire spiel. That said, they're losing the mid tower off of this. That's painful.
Yeah, you'd rather keep that mid tower than the bottom tower.
Definitely. A little bit too preoccupied.
Blessings.
So the double kill definitely was a nice added bonus for the Radiant side. Rashur is now top net worth, going of course for that Deso next. FCR has pretty much not had any engagements so far this game. Smoked up, walking towards the Radiant jungle. Good Static Link could definitely get a kill here onto Tavo. Does he know what's coming? Because Hijack one direction.
About to be Radiant's top tower.
Stun, the slow, the damage, the kill, and the first dual victory secured. They're going to immediately look for the bottom tier 1 tower. And Duster, you can try and keep it alive as much as you want, but once there's a 4-man rotation, that's going to be near impossible.
Yeah, but Hijack already showed that with the press the attack active, he can just keep on hitting that tower and don't take all the more damage. But they're really committed here. Duster even pulling the wave off of to the side just to make sure that Hijack has to tank that tower again. It's taking so long, but they will get it in the end.
Tower has fallen.
In the meantime, Rajur still continuing his farming frenzy. And, I mean, this TA is starting to become very scary. He's at the point where the supports just get 2 shot.
Yep. Second Mithril Hammer flying in very soon. That will be the completion of Dragonlance Deso. And at that point, they're going to be looking for Roshan over on Interitus to really cement their grip on the game. And Wolf Team is going to be kicking themselves for letting that mid tower go. They really need to equal it up on the other side in order to not get a big Roche disadvantage here. Ideally that and take the top tier 2 in order to get an outpost. But that's a lot of work to be done and not a lot of tools to do it with right now.
Oh, Overgrowth missed, but FCR still going to get jumped. Sonic Wave is available. A finger and a Sonic Wave definitely is enough damage to get the kill. So they will lose the Razor on the side of Interitus.
Also, that line, we have a translation for that in chat actually.
I saw. I got very confused with the translation itself.
I mean, that pretty much sounds like, Mom, I'm not coming. I don't want to eat, I'm playing here.
Just pause the game, Kips.
You see, my mom has learned that so well that now she never asks me to interrupt video games for anything anymore. Even though most of the games I play are actually not online. Like, Mom, just ask me to pause. We didn't need to wait with dinner.
My parents are like, dinner's ready. And then they eat, and then, you know, I come in about 5 minutes later. The anger in their faces. Why didn't you just pause the game? I told you 50 times. I can't.
Yeah, I think one of the best ways to preempt that is to make sure to tell your parents when you're queuing. It's like, alright, mom, I'm queuing a game right now. I can't be there for an hour. Which is a douche move to make, of course, when they're already cooking.
Like 5 minutes before dinner's ready. I'm gonna be playing now, so I won't be here for another hour. Wait, what?
Yeah, it's not a magic trick,
So,
but it helps.
they're in the Roche pit right now. It does get scouted out by a TB. Sonic Wave up in 20. Ravage is available. And I do love the choice of Tavo right here. He's going for a first item. Heaven's Halbert knows exactly what they need. They need disarms against these two pretty nasty heroes that, of course, are both ranged. So they both get disarmed for a solid 5 seconds.
I'm really loving that itemization right here. And of course, he's also going to get the passive evasion out of that. Feels good, man.
Radiant are scanning. How does that even work?
Smoke up. Okay. I mean, if they get a good catch here, they can definitely take Roche in a very quick amount of time. Problem is, the good catch is kind of the tide.
Yep, and really the only thing that will help you there is a duel. That said,
King RD dropping low. Action King RD staying alive. In comes the meta. Charge forward. They do find a 1-for-1 trade. Hijack will lose his life though. And now it's Rajur surrounded, disarmed as well. Needs a lot of help. HFN actually takes a lot of damage. Gets the Sunder off onto Tavo to try and stay alive. HFN still on the run because FCR is just charging forward. HFN does eventually die. And FCR, he's a dangerous tool. Tavo, they all just get absolutely mowed down. Did Tavo just die from a trap?
I think so, yeah. Trap damage plus the Eye of the Storm of a Razor who had 170 damage stolen.
Damn. I mean, I was looking at the entire part where TA was completely screwed. And then some random Razor comes charging in, chasing after the TB.
TB running for his life can't sunder because the BKB of the Razor is on. And then, yeah, he swaps his health with Tavo, who is like, okay, fine, but now I don't have HP. Screw you.
Without Ravage, Sonic Wave. Get a quick catch onto Duster. More dual victory damage. Head into the pit. Get that Aegis. And yeah, not too shabby here for Interitus.
40R plays with fire. Does not get burned.
Add another to the tally.
But this is definitely them losing their grip on Roche now. Wolf team. No Ravage for another minute. No way to get into the pit. This
No meta for 50 either.
now. Yeah.
Not as easy pickup. If they had a blink on King RD, maybe they could have gotten a catch, but you will also pay the price. Aegis picked up by the TA, who's going to go for the BKB next. And probably either a blink or an Ags. Or both. But definitely needs some mobility on TA.
Yeah, with the way that she's being played right now, as like a main carry, it is definitely less prioritized, but her range is still an issue. So I agree that she's going to pick up something that will help solve that particular problem. And of course, Blink Dagger skills a lot better these days now that we got upgrades. In my time, Harry's picking up a Blink. It was a hard choice for using the slot that way.
Still, you know, always great. Most of the time great. Even though there is an upgrade available for it. I mean, the fact that you don't necessarily have to carry boots anymore, instead get the Swift Blink, that's kind of cool. Though it also brought the overwhelming Blink Tinker into the game, which is slightly less cool.
Just a minor thing. Talking about overwhelming blink, by the way, the Quap is going to have a shard very soon, which includes those the sonic boom with the damage and specifically also these silences. So this is a point where the LC might have to start watching out a little bit more again. So far the Quap has just really avoided her because she can't be within dual range, and dual range with that level 10 talent, I keep falling over how far the range of that jewel is. That lion jewel up the ramp earlier was just another reminder of that talent. So good.
Yeah, it's pretty much just an Aether Lens on a Legion Commander, which, if you think about an Aether Lens on Legion Command, that just sounds horrible.
And yet we've seen people build it in the past. Just because dual range is so hard.
Yeah,
now you just get it for free.
That is just pure value, one of the strongest level 10 talents in the game. 'Cause most level 10 talents on most heroes kinda suck.
Yeah, I mean, I feel this could have been a shard upgrade. The problem is that LC shard is also one of the best shard upgrades in the game.
I'm looking at level 10 talents on these heroes, and like, some of them are pretty nice, but I always get super disappointed if you've got like a +7 strength. And you're like, yay, that's superb.
Yes. Fear me now.
Yeah,
Mortals.
Razor, his level 10 talent, 9 agility, level 15 talent, 14 strength. That is hella boring.
Razor is hella boring.
Axe Razor isn't, but 40R. Mortimuscus is coming in as well, but he gets the blink away. Duster, of course, with the living armor to support him, and doesn't actually take nearly as much damage as expected. Does already have the plate mill. Kaya Sands, dual last shorter. HP is, I mean, 2.1k. That's a beefy Quap. That is a problematic Reshuer. Cookie, not enough. Pop the Aegis.
Oh,
Ravage ready. Dead blow, Reshuer. Ouch.
All of a sudden, he's gone. That was the Aegis, and they're not even that big of a commitment for Wolf Team to get the first life out. We really just underestimated how many heroes there were in mid.
Well, that was a moment where Mortimuscus was on cooldown, Duel was on cooldown, so they really felt like they could get some aggression going, and definitely rightfully so. TB getting closer towards his Iascati. That moment you become a completely different kind of hero, where those TB illusions are starting to become strong enough to solo the Ogre Magi.
The supports are going to start dying. It's going to become very hard for both the LC and the TA to maneuver around in fights once they're in. And of course, we've discussed before, the TA doesn't actually have a mobility item yet, so she will always be in the middle.
Ags is just, you know, get the Ags. It might actually take a little bit too long, but I just love Ags. It's such a great item. You could also possibly go for Hurricane Pike to just quickly get out, for instance, of the Treant Overgrowth route.
I think the Hurricane Pike is probably the best choice here after the BKB. I think you just need both.
Duster is a nuisance this game. Wherever he tends to go, this entire series, to be fair, I mean, a Silencer previous game was also not too shabby, and top lane being split pushed by HFM while not even getting too close towards the tower. The power of TB. But now he's going in, he does have support behind him in case he gets jammed. Full Shiva's Guard done on the Quap as well, reduces that healing, gives that nice AoE vision, attack speed reduction, always a good tool to use.
Yep, and as we already saw from the plate mail earlier, the armor is super valuable in this game. Both versus the Eye of the Storm as well as versus the TA.
With living armor buff on top of him, he's, you know, just chilling with a solid 26 armor. 36 armor, sorry.
Ooh, quick fingers from King RD.
That's scary. 4DR also gets the TP away. They get the tower and they get it scot-free.
Oops, It's dead now.
Excellent. And now the next Roshan is going to be so much harder for Interitus to get. As soon as they lose grip over their jungle, they're going to lose that outpost. And they can't do the same over on the other side of the map yet, so no easy teleports there. No easy wave pressure, especially if 4DR just keeps in shoving this bot wave like he has. Directing the attention of Interitus away from their own jungle. Trying to make sure that Wolf Team can get a grip here. Maybe some vision down.
Dire's bottom tower. Don't look good. Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
The Quap is already kind of tough to catch, but once she gets an Ags, not Ags, the Lincoln Sphere, she's going to be fairly annoying to catch, especially for the LC. You're going to need something to pop it. I don't know, did they Bullwhip, does it pop Lincolns or did they remove that? That was one of the neutral items that got removed on if they pop.
Was it Fey Grenade?
The Fake Grenade still works to pop Lincolns.
Yeah, then it was the Bullwhip, because I'm pretty sure I saw that.
Well, Fake Grenade's still available, so I've actually seen Legion commanders having tier 4 items available and still running around with Fake Grenade just to be able to pop that Lincolns.
Well, it's gonna be fine for a while, but Queen of Pain, of course, gets on her level 20 talent also the 18-second spell block, so the double Lincolns is in the works.
And then you add in a tier 5 neutral item, the Mirror Shield, and never mind, we'll never be able to hit her.
Honestly, I doubt Wolf Team wants to let this game go that far. They're just waiting for the next Aegis, dragging Interitus to different sides of the map here. They've got their vision established in the on the Dire side of the Roche pit now as well, so they're all set up. They're just waiting for the big man to come back. That's it.
Got a free shard. Would want the free shard though.
Radiant
Lion?
are scanning for enemies.
Baby Treant? I mean, TB's shard is kind of meh.
It is quite meh. And the Quap already has hers.
Probably does damage to buildings, which is nice, but you kind of want to have just the TB killing it anyway.
Dire are scanning.
Oh, just to walk back over the trap.
No sneaky
You know he's there now.
bums.
I'm not going for him though.
4DR still in the trees. Oh, he does TP away. While in the meantime, HFN, he's just using his illusions to push out the mid tier 2. While they're spending so much time and effort to try and catch a Quap that is not even there anymore.
Wolf Team having a whale of a time right now. You can see how all that effort of 40R pushing out the bot wave pays off. Entire enemy team goes there, catches nothing. They get to rule the jungle. And this could have already been a Roshan respawn.
Well, another DC. Duster's having some issues, it seems, because he's previous game as well. He's had a pretty lengthy DC there. No lasting issues on his part.
I hope so as well. And kind of impressive how he's been playing even with the internet not cooperating, honestly. I guess Silencer and Treant, if you think about it, maybe that's also a reason why they pick heroes like this. You can drop some frames and still play a perfectly serviceable Treant Protector game. Armor here. I think they're on me now. Let's press R. Walk into the trees, hope that when my screen unfreezes, I am in the trees and not dead.
Yeah, but he's missing the Meteor Hammer.
True.
The beauty to finish off that. Just creeping out in the trees, Meteor Hammer, run away. Always nice magic coming through. But yeah, the TB, Dragonlance, Mantistal, Ayaskadi, it's hard for them to get on top of him because TA is going for the MKB next. That means, TA is not going to get anywhere close to HFN. Most of the fights, Razor does have the Refresher Orb. So they can still take down the TB, but they kind of need to peel off the rest of Wolf Team and get the Razor right next to HFN.
Yeah, I think I agree with you there. The Razor having the Refresher up is really important though. Like, you can also force the rest of the team away, especially if you pop the Eyes of the Storm on top of each other. I've seen some Razors who'd rather have a BKB and an Eye of the Storm refresh and have another BKB, another Eye of the Storm instead of overlapping the two storms. but you can properly force everybody to get out if you pop the double eye. Nobody can stand that.
I always get very sad at the fact that, you know, everyone is like, get Ags, refresher on Razor, because of course double BKB, double Eye Storm is really great. And I never see them go Ags. Makes me sad. Then like, maybe this one.
The TA heard you, by the way. She's got herself a blink dagger.
Okay. Tool to get on top. Hijack missed a blink completely, and now he's caught in a tough spot. Can he run away? Armlet toggle. Run, Hijack, run! No, you can't outrun the Sonic Wave from 40R, and yeah, that was a very big whiff.
It was. I mean, it's the first time this game that he sees the Tide within blink range, right? Unfortunately, overblinks, I think. Ends up short in the trees, and now they don't even need to go for the Roshan. They had everything ready for it. And instead, Interitus dropped the ball in a big enough way that HFN just says, nah, we're going for that top racks.
Easy racks taken down. Tier 2 tower mid is almost dead as well. The only plus is that, again, bottom tier 2 is very far away, but that was definitely a problematic moment in the game for the side of Interitus. That Ms. Blink immediately calls the move from their opponents.
Very unfortunate. So now, actually surprised. Yeah, I was about to say some illusions need to come to mid and tip that middle tower over.
Why is middle tower is falling?
Yeah. This is going to be a tough fight for Roche, especially considering both team have the superior Roshan fight lineup. I mean, Ravage, Sonic Wave, Overgrowth, 3 massive team fight ultis in a clustered area like Roche. Interitus can't do too much because they're lacking. Well, they only have one AoE team fight ulti, and that's Mortimer's Kisses, which was when it came out amazing, but right now is like nice damage.
Yeah, it's decent. It's not a team fight in your pocket.
No, when it came out, it was fun because like you just wiped the entire enemy team out. Did like stupid levels of damage. The good old days. Duel comes out. Mortimer's Kisses as well. They get the kill onto Treant. However, TB is here with the Metamorphosis. Refresher gets used by Tavo. Double Ravage comes out. Rajur getting slowed down. Popped his BKB already. 40R though, he's stun locked, he's dead, and FCR is still gonna pop his refresher, wants to re-aggress on the back line. Almost gets King RD, FCR static link, Overgrowth, he's gonna get rooted, and HFN doesn't care, gets the kill secured, turns his attention to everyone else, because that is easy picking. I mean, you kill off, like, a decent amount of the heroes from Wolf Team. The only problem is the one that you need to kind of dodge is HFN.
Yeah, really nothing to do against HFN there. You really need to get the minus armor to start stacking on him. You really need to have the static link on him for a while, and right now he just had too many illusions up to even consider that. You can only drain the main target.
Hijack. It's back. Are they gonna be able to do anything here on Interitus? Don't really think so. 2 sets of racks should be easily secured. Question is, will they? Yeah, they'll probably go back, get Roche, come back up, dust the DCs again. And to throw some more charcoal on that wooden PC.
I think they're flaming a specific provider there. I wouldn't be surprised.
Would not surprise me either. He is back, so not that big of a problem. We'll get back into the action, but Interitus 12k behind. It's not the end of the world, but you really just saw the sheer dominance of HFN in that team fight.
At least the meta is down.
Yeah, but he's running around with a nice, solid 36, just passive armor.
Nothing to really the TA can do to him. Like, here, just like in the previous game, it feels like Ryur, as much as he overperformed in the mid lane, still gets caught out by the rest of the matchups in the game. He just hasn't been able to contribute as much as he really would need to.
Well, into the pit they go. Shard, who's it going to be? Who's going to be wielding that shard? Oh, actually, they're looking to take a fight here. Link's on cooldown for the TA. Roche only halfway done.
Wolf team chilling. Waiting for that Ravage most of all, I think.
The double
Meta would
Ravage,
also be
yeah.
nice.
Tide's always lovely to witness with a refresher.
It will give FCR his refresher back as well. Both of them having popped it at roughly the same time. So there is a shot here for Interitus. I think, honest to goodness, Ryur is going to need to tank some of the damage to allow FCR to actually stay in the fight.
They need to be very quick on their BKBs. Like,
Not
right
quick
there.
enough.
Yep, they're not the quickest on their BKBs. Oh, the double Ravage Sonic Wave damage. FCR, you're done and dusted. Overgrowth comes in from Duster. They're all rooted, they're all dead, they're all gone. And honestly, it would not surprise me if the GG gets called. Kips, that was not too fast on their BKBs.
No, that was such an unfortunate Roshan bash there as well. Ryur is turning to get out of the pit again and gets bashed up. I don't think Tavo can even see that at that point, but it just meant that there was so little time for Ryur to decide that he needed to commit to getting out of there. And he didn't, and now it all she wrote.
Yeah, that was a fairly dominant game. HFN, 2 games played, 1 death in total. And that is kind of the HFN that we expect. Not joining the game until he is fat enough to just win it outright.
Yep, and I think a lot of the... He does join a lot earlier these times though, and I think a lot of the performance improvement here is just from him actually showing up and doing more on the map than he did before. And then of course our ways drafts also just looked way better than Interitus's this time around. I did really like the Razor pick. I think that could have done a lot of work this game, but he kind of got outplayed by King RD, I think. And that once again starts this sort of snowball where Interitus with their 3 sort of medium core should have gotten way more done in the end of the laning stage, in the mid game. Didn't get that snowballing effect that they would have wanted, and that gives HFN all the space in the world to play the game exactly like he wants.
Yeah, HFN never really got interrupted even in the laning stage. Only at the beginning he took a lot of damage, almost died during his first meta, but they kind of wasted all of their mana in that regard, and at that point it's just the Treant constantly giving everyone and everything some nice heals by Duster. But that of course does mean that this is already a very quick series done, Kips. I mean, surprisingly enough, we are done within 2 hours time in a best of 3, and I am pretty happy to see that Wolf Team finally is playing to a degree that we kind of expect of them.
Yeah, I completely agree with you there. As much as it hurts to cast sort of a stomp here, it does feel good to finally see the team that should be stomping these people. Because we've had such a hard time with all of our hands constantly glued to our foreheads at our way losing. So this is a welcome change as far as I'm concerned.
There's still a long road to go if they want to even, well, there is still, I think, the slightest chance that they could make it forward, but we both know that they're going to most likely be in Division 2 next season as well. And I'm quickly going to check, is there some Division 1 today? It does not seem to be the case, so...
No.
That was it. Okay, that was it for for the stream today, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully you enjoyed the show. I would like to thank, of course, Kips for joining me on the mic. Hopefully you enjoyed the games as much as I did.
It was quite a lot of fun. in a stompy way.
Yeah, it was, you know, very relaxed, kind of one-sided, enjoying the show. But of course, that show has to end right now, and hopefully we'll see you guys next time, which is tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken, for some more South American action. Then we've got one match in the Division 2, and then I think back-to-back Division 1 matches being played as well. So don't forget to hit us up on the Epulze Gaming channel. Again, my name is DKTruman, joined by Kips. Have a wonderful day, and in case we don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.